group game of World Cup qualification is here. It started for England and Ukraine facing each other out in Turkey, and this is how it ends, at least for now. Automatic qualification is out of England's hands after defeat to Spain on Friday. Serena Wiegmann makes 4 changes and 3 of them come to the back line. Letitia, Carter and Charles come in after a disappointing defensive performance from the Lionesses last time out. Manchester City's Laura Blinkila-Brown replaces Ella Toone, while the front 3 remain the same, with Alessia Russo the focal point once again. And Ukraine have yet to pick up a point this campaign, and it's a change of goalkeeper for Andrzejczyk's team, with Katarina Boklach making her first appearance for the qualifying campaign. 9 players in the squad play their club football for Metalist Kharkiv in the Ukrainian top flight. Canadian-born forward Tanya Boychuk's allegiance switch was confirmed by FIFA ahead of the April qualifiers, and that is a huge boost to this Ukrainian side. Well, England need a big favour from Iceland tonight to secure automatic qualification to next year's World Cup. Serena Wiegmann's Lioness is keen to put the disappointment of Friday night behind them, and then the group with a statement. Win this game and win it comfortably. Here's Walsh. Withdraw the ball into the area, unsuccessful. She'll look back and will look to get things started quickly. Phil Lucy, after took them over 45 minutes the last time these two met to find the back of the net.
Yeah, Ukraine will frustrate England. They'll 4-5-1 block, I'm sure, and just try to be compact and defend well.
To the ball from looking for the back post.
Every minute you expected that intensity, you expected a reaction from a Serena Wiegmann side. It's all about the speed of the ball. How quick can you move the ball? How quick can you move defenders about? Have that quality in front of goal.
Got Clutch. Is it long? First appearance in this qualifying campaign. It has been split out. They don't have much consistency in terms of the back line, particularly the goalkeeper for Ukraine. Hampton. Morgan. Lays to roam into. Just get there. Hurdle the tackle.
It's a really good ball, actually. Charles is just expecting it to seize it. Charles is just expecting it to seize it. Just enough weight on it. Charles is very quick.
James. Locked in a battle. Come away with it. It's Boychuk who frees it forward. And to recover it. There's Letitia to guide the ball back to Hannah Hampton. And the players under the spotlight. Hannah Hampton, after the heavy defeat to Spain on Friday night, the heaviest defeat in the Serena Wiegmann era, and indeed in 17 years.
Say it's not the time to panic. I don't think for England it was a brutal reality check, but this group will come down to Spain winning that game by more goals than England beat them at Wembley, and that is fine margins.
Here's Heather. The ball forward. Carter. With Charles now. A twisting, turning. Walsh. Out wide and open. She is one of the players who said that it is not time to panic despite the sleepless night after the game against Spain. She's challenged the goalkeeper early on in this game.
Short term it's a disappointment. Long term it's how can this team evolve into the World Cup next year? How can we bring younger players in? The whole changes, but you certainly need to still evolve. And I think when she was at Netherlands, that was probably the only thing that you could throw at her, was the evolution of the team. She did wonderfully well with this group, and it's then about doing that. She actually has done it quite slowly, introducing new faces. Really interested to see how that happens over the next 12 months.
Keela Brown, a stellar year for club and country. Charles is chasing the ball. Charles, getting a little bit too close to the goalkeeper, skim through the area. Walsh. Forward once again, looking for Charles. Sits back, here's Keela Brown, but the flag has gone up to offside.
It's a good run from Niamh Charles. She's right at the top of her position as a full-back, knowing full well she'll get a lot of ball down this left-hand side, and a couple of times that she's got herself in really good positions. I'm sure that Russo expected that to come across. Just a little bit slow in coming back. That's the type of ball you need. Down by Walsh. The Ukrainian team looking the way of Bulchuk, Canadian-born player. Serena Bigman of She's just got loads of sticks from the bench there, but the touch was not the best. You see that a few times, don't you?
Well, her playing days long behind her. We do see her occasionally get stuck in around the training pitch, so don't we? Needs a bit more practice on that one. It's Letitia. Morgan. For her old Manchester City teammate, Lauren Hemp. Letitia. What a season she's had for Manchester United. Hasn't missed a minute of WSL football.
Such a good player. It's interesting. Lucy Bronze is a fabulous player. She'll still be here next year in the World Cup, but you're still looking at the succession plan of that right back, and Letitia to me looks like the most Lucy Bronze-like in terms of who could come in and fight her for the position.
Here is Letitia on the ball now. Lays it off to Lauren Hemp. They're waiting. Russo headed away all as far as Lauren Hemp once again. Has support in the form of Stanway. Slip from England. Keela Brown caught the wrong side of the ball. Well, it is in the early stages of this game 0-0 here in Liverpool. In England and Ukraine. Lauren James comes forward. And elsewhere, there has been a goal in the game between Iceland and Spain, and it's the news that no Lionesses fan wants to hear. Spain has scored early in the game through Vicky Lopez. And so as things stand, it will be England finishing second in the group.
I think everybody coming here would expect Spain to win. Spain are a brilliant team, and any group that contains Spain, you know, you're going to have to be very, very good against them in those home and away games to top the group. Under no illusions about that. You're going to have to do it the hard way, but we'll say it in this group of players and the manager that's certainly what will happen.
And the hard way is, of course, the playoffs. If England are successful in the first round of playoffs, with the draw taking place on the 18th of June, and then be a second round in the late November, December international window. They look to secure their place in Brazil for 2027. Here's Lauren Hemp, way there as well. This here picks up the ball and goes down into the challenge, and it will be a free kick for England.
The combination down that right hand side, Hemp being fully involved on that right wing position. Ukraine just have to make sure they get as close as possible. If they're going to give away fouls, they need to make sure that too many of those, because they'll certainly have the players to make use of these positions.
And one of them, of course, is Lauren James. Just assessing her options. Keela Brown jogs by. Again, hasn't been the seasons for Lauren James, who's had to battle back from injuries on a couple of occasions. She is, of course, still an integral part of this Lionesses squad. James floating ball, put it away. Cut by Stanway, just checks the other shoulder. Morgan. Football in the USA now after leaving Manchester City. Here's Charles.
They're happy that they're 9 minutes without conceding. Oh, process of trying to frustrate the opposition. That's the way that they play, and look to work on the break.
Morgan. Charles, so much of the ball already coming through Neve Charles. This is out on that occasion to Shunny up. Suffered, didn't they, through the first 45 minutes when these two met in the opening game. The qualifying campaign.
It's about keeping it level for Ukraine as long as possible. But England are trying to score when they've got the possession and they have a little bit of pressure. Like they will get chances to get themselves forward, but the majority will be with England, as expected.
Which are quite happy to chase. Allegiance only recently changed. Her parents both Ukrainian, but she was born in Canada, actually on the bench against England in the Arnold Clark Cup back in 2022, but didn't make it onto the pitch. Was able to change her FIFA allegiance. 58. Forward into the pass. The touch too close. Ukrainian defence, yeah, out of play.
Staying wide, right. Lauren James is just coming in through Sheila Brown. There's a lot of bodies in that central area. The space is full backs, but obviously Hemp as well on that right hand side.
Will be. Lionesses here to take this corner, plays it short, rolls it into the path of Lauren James. That's a curling ball, looping off the post and down into the grasp of the goalkeeper. What a chance that was for the Lionesses.
Brilliant effort from Lauren James, as we expect. Technically perfect as a player. James, and goalkeeper lands in her hands, and Boklach is quite pleased about that, I think.
Somewhat lucky there to the player making her first appearance in the qualifying campaign. Here's Hemp. Takes to burn. Kanina. Stanway. Walsh.
Ukraine are going, just trying to deny that space for England to just slide those balls in, and if they have to do that, then the ball is going to be absolutely perfect. The effort from Lauren James, the goalkeeper, far post. And we talk about her technical ability, there's many better in the world. It's so nonchalant the way that she does it, but that is pretty lucky for Boklach. She couldn't have timed that better if she'd have tried. She's never ever going to do that again in her life.
Lucky for Ukraine, unlucky for Lauren James. Just centimetres away from scoring the opening goal in this game. 12 minutes on the clock. England give the ball away carelessly. Woodchuck there and lurking. She will be the big threat for Ukraine in this game, despite only recently coming into the fold. Another corner.
Right. Of a reaction needed. After the Spain game, she certainly has shown that.
So of course who ended the season with incredible success for Manchester City, but maybe would have wanted to play a bigger role in terms of goals scored. Here's Lauren James. Trademark footwork, chops one way. Deflection, buried, headed down, and it's over the line! And England take the lead! Jeff Carter, right place, right side. And England have lift off in Liverpool.
Earlier on in the game, Lauren James tried to find Jeff Carter with a little dink over from a free kick. Didn't quite come off, but this time perfect. And again, the more that Lauren James has the ball, the more likely that England are going to create something. And she picks a moment, finds a space, and then puts it on Jess Carter's head, and she did so well on the centre back to just guide it past Bocklatch into the side of her head. She won't care. A great assist and a brilliant finish.
Her first start of the qualifying campaign for Jess Carter, and rewarded with a goal. And you can see how much it means to her and to her teammates, and there her manager, Serena Wiegman.
Well, this is an opportunity to through the back four to come in new to this game. An opportunity to defend well, start with different type of opposition, but also getting on the score sheet. So Carter done it for her.
And letting the ball in, Russo there and lurking. Pings around once again off a couple of heads. And back down to the feet of Lauren James. Here's Charles now. Good power on the ball, Hemp arriving. Ford. Brown picks up the charge. Tissier, nice floating ball, looking for the head of Russo, brings it up high. Be out for a goal kick.
Running in that far post. Always takes defenders by surprise. Nearly got on the end of it. Russo, as usual, just trying to make herself available in the middle for those cut back, cut inside and in swingers. That's what England have worked on in the opening 15 minutes of this.
Here's Ukraine charging forward. Forward chuck against Carter. Charles.
You see, Wojciech is going to be the threat. She get a run on, but Jess Carter 1v1. Very, very good.
Stanway on the move from Bayern Munich this summer.
Interesting, Marla Tissier playing, not playing the usual right back Lucy Bronze role. She's tucking in as a right centre back. The width coming up that side from Hemp, and leave Charles on this left hand side. So it's a little bit of a flip of what Serena Wiegman usually does with an England side. Walsh.
Recovery from Yankila Brown. Whether it's a run.
The ball in front of an England player defending.
Herself in the Ukrainian goal. Still in discussion. England forward. To one side, it's Hemp, drills it forward, big save. An excellent chance for Lauren Hemp. And they will have another corner here.
Hemp just had to sort of feet out before the strike here. Quite played into a pass, she got beyond it, but she did so well.
Morgan. Well, if you look at this game in isolation, Lucy, this is exactly the start that Sarina Wiegman would have wanted in comparison to, of course, still a huge margin of victory in Turkey in March. Of course, Ukraine having to play away from home due to the ongoing conflict in their home country. Fair to say that has more than had its impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the resilience of these players, the mentality of always travelling, always playing away from home, but it's about, for them, it's about establishing themselves in that second tier. Look in the Nations League, we're going to get relegated this time into Group B, but certainly establishing themselves there and sometimes popping up into the top league and building.
Hampton. Carter. Ukraine's fate is sealed. They will finish bottom and will be relegated down to the Nation League Group B. They thrived last time round, was winning promotion, but now straight back down.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Too good for Indy, but not quite good enough with the elite, and this is an elite group, isn't it? England and Spain.
Still, whichever way this will go, and maybe already has gone, either team, Spain or England, would feel very hard done by finishing second and having to go through the playoffs. England indeed have never finished top of a Nations League group. This will be their fourth attempt.
Spain was certainly ruthless, weren't they? Friday night, better all over the pitch, a bit more match fitness, I think, than the England lot, but absolutely no complaints or excuses. I mean, Spain have always been good, and they're evolving as well, and very, very difficult to beat.
Foul conceded by Schmatko. A clear tug of the shirt on Alessia Russo. Taken quickly, here's Hemp. James takes a quick look up. Calls for Linkila Brown. Rolls it forward, big chance for Lionesses. Chip falls down wide for a corner.
Another little knockdown from Russo. And the earlier quick free kick was good, because sometimes you've just got to be unpredictable. When you're set against a low defence, 4-5-1, you've got to do stuff that's unpredictable. Move the ball quickly. It's kind of a little ball from the Brown, just couldn't get it into a stride.
James. Morgan. Keela Brown. Heavy touch, but able to guide it away from Forchuk. Letitia is over. Not too much on it from the Manchester United captain.
Great play on the right hand side, and it's about picking a player out. See the glory. Fullback to fullback.
Just look at that for a statistic, and one that is not at all surprising, with England's dominance in this early start of the game. 23 minutes on the clock, 4 shots on target, 1 goal. Shots on total for England, most recent, but Maya Letitia yet to score her first goal for England with her 14th cap.
I think Sarina Wiegman will be happy with the reaction from her players, the team that she's picked, the changes that she's made, obviously against, with all due respect, inferior opposition compared to Spain, but you've still got to show that reaction. England's done so, kept putting the pressure on, keep creating, it's about scoring the goals now.
Just flicking the ball into the path of Lauren James. Too close for comfort though.
If you're an England player, it's like Lauren James is in space, just give her the ball, particularly when you've got to unlock a defence.
And even if she's not on stage, she'll probably make some for you.
Absolutely. The match winner bit, we've got Russo scores the goals, those who create.
Starkia. Had any length of a spell of possession, have they really, Ukraine? Occasional run forward from Tanya Boychuk, but it's always been well watched by either Counter or Esme Morgan.
She's really growing into the role of being picked as a centre-back for England. Lots of experience out in the States, and perfect stature, isn't she, to be an international centre-back, that's for sure. Difficult night, the other night, as a lot of players did, in fact probably the whole team.
Making her 25th appearance today, Esme Morgan. Assessing her options. Walsh. Their Chelsea teammates and Lauren James. Alessia Russo. Cissier's out wide. Keela Brown. Fully switched on. Wilczek will try and turn away from the Manchester City midfielder. Into the path of Manchester United player Letizia.
Ukraine to win the ball back and connecting a few passes. It's been difficult for them, most of it's spent defending, but England's goal kicks, they have tried to press high, but it's too easy for England. Clutch.
Both have football in the top tier in France. Struggle for appearances this season, just 90 minutes in the Coupe de France. Here's Lauren Hemp now. Hemp. So much pace to burn. Keeps running, goes down. New goal kick. She hurt herself there, clattering into the advertising hoarding just behind the goal.
She's just so positive. Lightning quick. Lauren Hemp. But she just keep having, in terms of this game, she's been one of the real positives. Front three have, I think, games with her from wide positions, that just constantly front foot, always wanting to make things happen. Serena is pleased. She doesn't look it, but she certainly will be pleased with the start to the game.
After goal, still the only, with 26 minutes played between England and Ukraine. Their third goal for her country. Back to defend. Anna Hampton. Walsh. And Keela Brown. Hemp out wide. Opts to use that. Stanway.
Second of time where it opened up, Ukraine just tried to pinch the ball from Kira Walsh. She turned very well, and England just didn't make the most of the space when they put the ball into Ukraine's half, and they don't have to cover well.
It's Stanway now. Keela Brown. Excellent bit of defending, and then the shot from Alessia Russo high and over. Still 1-0.
Keela Brown, the anticipation that it's going to come to her. Sort of feet out. I think Russo did well to sort her feet out, but then the effort's always underneath it, a little bit wild.
First season she had in an Arsenal shirt. Scoring season in her WSL career.
She's moving towards being absolutely complete centre forward. Russo, she's gone up levels in the last year, 18 months, I think.
Straight back to Lauren Hemp.
Maintaining the momentum, maintaining the intensity, throughout this first half. Can they get another goal? Can they keep up the pressure?
Here's Russo. Tissier. Walsh. Russo asking for the ball, she receives it, it's Lauren Hemp. Sets it up nicely, but it's pinging around. Ball Charles. Will go down as a foul on the Ukraine defence.
Getting unlucky, but Ukraine are just defending bodies. As soon as the ball gets in those sort of areas, bodies in front, blocks, and just trying anything to stop a shot on goal. And trying to be as creative as possible. They're actually getting in good positions.
Morgan. To run away from Melodiuk. Walsh. And away. Not well covered. Here's Wojciech, tries to control the ball. Turns into space, gets the shot away, but it's well watched by Hannah Hampton.
Well, there's always a risk when everything's happening at the other end of the pitch that you just lose a little bit of concentration in those sort of areas. Bit of a lapse in concentration, and the ball just puts it in a really difficult position, but Ukraine couldn't make the most of it. Between the Wojciech in the end, took it on herself.
She's in great goal scoring form. The Montreal Roses, who she co-captains, Tanya Wojciech. 4 goals in 6 NSL appearances this season. Now from Russo. Tissier.
On the speed that England moving the ball just dropped a little bit.
15 minutes left to play of this first half here in Liverpool. Look at that, Lucy.
Yeah.
80% possession for England. It's no surprise.
No, it's no surprise, and Ukraine are comfortable without the ball. So it's about trying to move the block about in these positions.
Josh Stanway on a driving run has options there. It's Lauren Hemp, pings it forward and then it's blocked before it reaches Laura Blinkila-Brown in the corner.
Surprised that Stanway didn't have a goal then. I mean, we know that Stanway gets in those positions. If you let fly and you start having a shot from those positions and instead of getting it wide, mixing the game up, then Ukraine will have to defend, come out and block. And that shot, and that will maybe open the spaces up.
Very happy with what she's seen. Pressure on the goalkeeper. Pushing and shoving, and so she's quickly in there. Manuela Rusta, Albania. Walsh. Kira Walsh. Delivering it to meet it. Spot clutch.
See what I mean, Ellen, about just the tempo of the passing just slowed down. Just allowed the Ukraine to just feel like they just after that mistake of Kira Walsh. It's about England just keeping going.
Well, England leading by a goal to nil here in Liverpool against Ukraine. It was a big result for Scotland, who topped the World Cup Qualification Group B4 after beating Israel by 5 goals to 1. Forward, there to chase, but once again couldn't find a way past Marina Shinuk.
So much space down that right hand side, but they just keep feeding up.
It's Russo. Hemp. Stanway. Keela-Brown. Charles. Kicked up for where Blinkila-Brown trying to fight her way through the crowd.
Again, shooting early. Just mixes the game up in those sort of areas.
This was the first game that Andrzejczak took charge of for you. Ukraine. The reverse fixture of this, of course, former Ukraine midfielder, captain of the national team. Worked with plenty of this squad at club level before making the step up to senior national team.
But it's also quite favourable in the lead up before the qualification group. It's a difficult one though, isn't it? So again, this group is with England and Spain in it. It's so difficult to get any sort of foothold in any sort of games.
And of course, losing Kosovo as well in that first game of the group up against England, stretched in terms of the forwards that they can put on the pitch. That's why it was such a big boost to have FIFA confirm the change of allegiance for their new number 9. Morgan, Carter, Charles, James. And put the back post, but then recovered by Katarina Boklach. It is such challenging conditions for qualification. Lucy, just the top 4 League A group winners progressing automatically, with then 32 teams heading into the 2-round playoffs come the autumn.
Yeah, you may end up with the elite teams not going to the World Cup. So many good countries in Europe.
Charles. Speculation around how she might end up during the summer window. Here's Lauren James, the teammate currently at Chelsea, former Chelsea teammate, and Jess Carter, Boston in the USA. Keela Brown. Walsh. They ball forward to look for Russo, plays it across, sliding in. Georgia Stanway doubles England's lead. Right place, right time. A perfectly placed ball.
That's terrific timing of the run from Georgia Stanway. It still needs that movement from Russo. As soon as she knows that Walsh got the ball, she knows that Walsh will put it in the right place, and it's about being unselfish. She could have had a go-on goal. She knew that somebody would be there, whether it's Kent, it happened to be Stanway, because she just knew as well that Russo is the type of player that will put it in that far area. It's a great move from England.
Well, a perfect display of how to unpick a defence from England.
Not been easy, has it? And Ukraine have suffered some big losses in this group, but I think that there's been periods of the game where they've defended well. There's just the sheer momentum and weight of pressure that then concede multiple goals, but England just keep having to find solutions, and they've done so twice in this game so far.
Here's Hep. Stanway making the run. She's just down the back of the net. Can she add another hit? So waiting. James, Keela Brown there as well. Not Russo.
It's a thankless task being a number 9 against a team that defends like this. She's created a goal, Russo, and desperate for one herself as well.
Morgan. Stanway. Keela Brown. Right to Hep. Lauren Hep. Leah Williamson. She's well back into the squad, having to withdraw. Kayla Hines, Kiara Keating, Ellie Roebuck. James. Away for Charles.
Well there, up against it, right back for Ukraine. Charles constantly pushing high, trying to get in behind. She read that well. Caught his ankle in that challenge.
Over England's 7th corner. Plenty of options to aim for. Loop on the ball, punched away, picked up by Keela Brown as the Ukraine goalkeeper rushes back to her line. Here's Lauren James.
Lauren James to shoot from those situations, just because I've seen it a number of times, that she can put one of those top corner, just trying to create for her teammates. Sometimes you have to be a little bit selfish, but she's got herself an opportunity in a dead ball situation now though.
Well, we've seen her come so close to scoring, haven't we already today? Just fractions wide, giving England the lead. They now have 2 goals, Spain have 2 as well. Edna Imade with the 2nd their way in Iceland. And of course that means England heading to the playoffs as the 2nd place team in their group. Here is Lauren James, steps up, good on the ball, too far away once again.
Far away. Just trying to sneak it in. That near post, didn't quite get the up and down needed. Sure, the goalkeeper expected it the other side.
Captain for alert, haven't they, with the high press tonight? There is confirmation of the latest score in Reykjavik as Iceland host Spain. Vicky Lopez and Edna Imade on the score sheet for Spain.
Certainly the benchmark now, aren't they, Spain? There's been some battles over the last few years and finals. We come out best in the Euros last summer, but Spain just looked like they've stepped on a gear.
And a huge game going on in qualification group A2 between France and the Republic of Ireland, and it's Melby Mallard who after 40 minutes has scored the opener for France. Plenty of eyes on that game after some breathtaking performances from the Republic of Ireland through this qualifying campaign. It's Lauren Hens who may be through here, up to shoot! A touch too high.
More of that. And more efforts on goals, just a little bit further out. You know, England have really nice build-up play, good 1-2 touch. Sometimes one of those ended up in the back of the net. It's very satisfying, and Hemp certainly deserves something out of this first half performance.
And we are fast approaching the end of the first half. 90 seconds of regulation time left to play. 2 goals. It has been relatively free-flowing as well, hasn't it, Lucy?
That England will be pleased. I think it's just that there becomes a tipping point in games like this where goals start to go in a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll happen in the second half like it did in the fixture right at the start of this campaign, but Ukraine are resilient. You know, they defend well, and England have had to just produce nice little bits of magic to score the 2 goals.
6-1 defeat for Ukraine on that day at the hands of England. Also Stanway and Park. There's 2 apiece on the score sheet. Got Clutch. Keeler Brown. What can Ukraine do here just ahead of the break? Tidy up with Carter and turn him away well. Steve Charles, here's Lauren James. There's Russo to one side. She's running. She won't want to watch that one back.
No, she won't, but that is the positivity I need to see from Lauren James, because she's just got everything in a locker. At the start of the game, first 15-20 minutes she's so well. She just creates space and movement, just little shifts in her body, but then the end, not at the same standard, but that's what you want to see from her. She's such a compelling footballer.
1 minute of additional time. She did provide the assist for the opening goal, scored by Jess Carter, her 3rd international goal for England, and Georgia Stanway on the score sheet as well to double England's lead, and they've had plenty of chances since that Georgia Stanway goal. They may come here for Alessia Russo. Russo has options. Lauren Hempars for the ball. Stanway goes down almost on top of it. Almost up in this first half. Final qualifying game in the group stage between England and Ukraine. And that will be that for the first half. England well in control. Qualification automatically out of their hands. But Jess Carter opened the scoring. 14 minutes on the clock before Georgia Stanway added a second. A controlled and composed performance so far for Sarina Wiegman's Lionesses. All the analysis of the first half coming up with Katie, Fran and Anita. Half-time here in Liverpool. It is England 2, Ukraine 0.
Celebrating the stars of tomorrow.
in the team. I'd like to see her get a chance, and also to see Lucia Kendall again.
Yeah, I'd love to see Jess Park as well. I think for the form that she's been in this season, for her to get out here and just build extra confidence when she plays for England would be great to see.
As for England changes, we're hearing that Beth Mead will be coming on for Lauren James and Alex Greenwood will be coming on for Esme Morgan. Fran, what do you make of those changes at half-time?
I think it's just more personnel for personnel. I think Alex Greenwood will go into centre-back, Beth Mead will go on the wing, and these are two players that we know a lot about. We know about, you know, their strengths. They're a very experienced team, and that's why I'd like to see maybe a couple of players come in to give them that experience at playing at this level.
I mean, we should know better than to go against Serena and her substitute decisions, but again, it's a bit of continuity there for England. You know, she has a plan, she always sticks to it, but of course we'd like to see other changes.
Okay, let's hand you back to our commentary team of Lucy Ward and Ellen Ellard for the second half. Take it away.
Thanks, Katie. Welcome back to Hill Dickinson Stadium. A controlled and composed first half from England, but Serena Wiegmann will want to leave Liverpool with a statement. It's Lauren Hemp who's got back quickly to defend. And it has been a good battle, hasn't it, so far between Lauren Hemp and Marlena Shynock.
It has. I think that England are using that wide area, particularly that.
Have the ball in the back of the net is Jess Carter. She's now partnered by on the shirt of Keela Brown. Letitia. Stanway, the goal scorer from the first half. England lead 2-0. Keela Brown. Lushenko driving forward as Georgia Stanway swooping in. No Letitia. Immediately in a Lushenko.
For Ukraine, just need to pass it forward more. You know, when they get in those sort of situations and they've got bodies beyond, they haven't had that many opportunities to get themselves forward, but that first pass has to be forward.
Boychuk, flag goes off against her. Too quickly by England, and Lauren Hemp now striding forward. Russo to one side, halts her run. Do you think they'll have the 6 goals they scored in the opening game of qualification as a benchmark tonight, Lucy?
Yeah, they probably do, but football doesn't always work like that. It's the end of a very long season for these England girls, and so any sort of win, good performance is needed Friday night, and so far so good. More goals though, I expect.
Might come here. It's too far away from Alessia Russo. Guided out to play Schmatko. Keela Brown. Georgia Stanway. Russo keeps going. It's Alessia Russo. Will fall kindly here. Pings away.
Great block. Away. All over it was. It's good play again by Russo. She worked hard to try and create something for herself.
Desperate to bounce back today from the heaviest defeat of 17 years and the heaviest under the reign of Serena Wiegmann, who has set the standard so exceptionally high for her Lionesses. And is the set-piece specialist, Alex Greenwood, put over this free kick. Greenwood shot it into the wall. It was called Beth Mead. They get another go here, up to go back to Carter. Mead. Charles. Greenwood. Attempt with great defending, ball just poked away from her. Zavarova.
Yeah, she's finding space, isn't she, again, second half, whether it's in that inside channel or whether it's wide right.
This stood over this corner. I've been threatening some set pieces so far this game. And once again, I'm happy with the positioning of certain players within the box. The Titier. A bad ball, the header's there, but only narrowly wide.
She had a lot of time to think about that. She knew where she wanted to put it. Charles, clever set piece, trying to get it as away from the goalkeeper as possible. In the end, it's too wide. Poplach's far post, but a clever little set piece.
She's come close on a handful of occasions now this game, hasn't she, Niamh Charles? For a season in a Chelsea shirt where she would have wanted more. The appeals were there for handball from the Ukrainian players. Shenko comes away with the ball. Feed it back to their goalkeeper. Poplach. Now she goes long, looking for Boychuk. Greenwood. Walsh. Mead.
What Lauren James did in the first half, to work that inside channel, allow that wide area for Niamh Charles.
All the pressure from Mead, falling into the path of Alessia Russo.
Fresh legs coming on, Mead running about and forcing Poplach the ball out of play.
Stanway. Mead. Nudge of the ball from Niamh Charles.
Concentrated. They don't want to not have a clean sheet this evening.
Teams will be going into the playoffs, although Ukraine will also be relegated from League A in the Nations League setup. And the team finishing second and third in Group A, playing the 6 group winners from League C, as well as the best 2 ranked runners-up from that league as well. So Hungary, Greece, Romania already confirmed as group winners in League C before tonight.
Can we explain that again?
You don't have to. It is, though, on paper and of course in reality, incredibly hard qualifying standards. And 32 teams going into the playoff rounds, of which there will be 2, England will hope, in autumn and then in November and December as well, if they progress through those opening stages.
Yeah, it's not the way that England would have wanted to spend those 2 international windows, but certainly they should be able to beat whatever team is in front of them in both of those 2 rounds.
Here is the Titier. Georgia Stanway has just slipped over. She's not the first England player to have a bit of a slide on the pitch today, and of course sliding in for the second goal. No goals so far in the second half, of course still early stages. And there is a couple of trains of thoughts, of course, Lucy. That means there won't be any friendly games to test younger players ahead of the World Cup. But it also means that their games will be of competitive standard ahead of the 2027 tournament, should England make it through those games.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but there's pros and cons to both ways. You get to play statement games against big teams, but friendlies are friendlies. These are going to be competitive games that are so important to England's progression.
It's Hemp and Keela Brown, the players who have been developing at great speed this season. It's Stanway, can't get her shot away cleanly. The shoulder from Jess Carter. Wojciech was there and waiting, the Canadian-born, now Ukraine international. Happy to do a lot of the running tonight, hasn't she, as well, Tony Wojciech, co-captain of Montreal Roses in the NSL.
Yeah, in this sort of system, you've got to be the one that occupies both centre-backs, try and press. It's so difficult though, don't see very much of the ball.
Stanway to the ball tonight, as you'd expect. Letitia, Keela Brown, Stanway, Walsh, turn, Russo, chance opening up here for England. Here's Hemp, Stanway, just been crowded out once again. He's swooping in, trying to pick up the ball. It's Walsh now. Hemp, fine feet, nice footwork. It's Lauren Hemp, curling ball, just over the bar of Katarina Boklach.
Right, get that right. But again, it's just nice build the play, but England's end goal is to get in behind, so that it's not as predictable for Ukraine when they're defending against it. Did the hard bit very, very well. Lauren Hemp didn't quite get that bit right, but she's been fully involved in everything positive England have done tonight.
Such a great servant for club and country, and of course started the season with injuries for Manchester City, able to make her impact when she came back. October, November, the second half of the season. WSL FA Cup champion this season with Manchester City. Here is Lauren Hemp. Kindly for Georgia Stanway. Alex Greenwood. Walsh. Here Walsh. Away just about past Lushenko, but the ball was just out of play.
Ricochet just having a word with the assistant, but Ricochet just took it away from Kira Walsh, but that's even nice to see the FA linking up with the Alzheimer's Society as well. Tonight's game, horrific disease that devastated impact on thousands of families.
From Arsenal this summer. Charles. That changes too far away. More of them for England. Away past Jess Carter, who has been excellent tonight. Here's Lauren Hemp now. Set free, has Russo to one side. Hemp waits for the arrival of Georgia Stanway. Stanway rolls it forward. It's Hemp up to the byline. Big save. So trying to keep the attack alive.
Yeah, there haven't been many times where England have caught Ukraine out of shape at the back and up the pitch, and that's a great ball from Carter. She recognised where the space is, and then Hemp, it's about, can she create from that right hand side? It's just a little bit too far in front, that second touch.
Letitia. Power on the ball. It's the best need. 6,065 in attendance at the Everton Stadium here tonight. First time a England team have played here.
The stadium. That's my first time here as well. Very nice.
And there is the latest score in Reykjavik. Iceland 1, Spain 4. Spain have just come into form at the right time. Here is Alessia Russo, been in form all season. It's Russo, it's a big save, stilled and then cleared away.
She hasn't had too many chances in terms of the team playing through her, but she worked so hard, and that little bit of space, got the power behind it, straight down the goalkeeper's throat.
Greenwood. Walsh, 24 goals in all competitions for Arsenal this season. Alessia Russo, 2 balls on the pitch, so the Holt's in play as the ball is retrieved. Well, it will be 2 former Everton players who are getting ready to come on. The Horace Dickinson Stadium and Jess Park, player who scored it for Manchester United. Hampton, Carter, here's Mead, Keela Brown, Charles open to one side. Making a run forward. Mead. They're watching her closely. Yeah. Stanway. Georgia Stanway's time on the pitch may be limited with Jess Park preparing to come on. It's going. Charles. Another avenue, England. Mead. Vision to find Georgia Stanway. Stanway. Oh, and another corner here.
Yeah, I mean, as the game's progressed, Stanway's made those sort of runs into the box. She's got a goal from that. More and more positive effects on the game. Mead. To weave a way forward. Takes a quick look up to Jess Carter once again. Walsh, the 58. Looking to add a 6th major tournament to her collection for England. And the substitutes will now happen. The changes for England. First being Neve Charles coming off from the far side. Plenty of chances today. Will someone be disappointed? I think that she hasn't been able to find the back of the net for her first England goal. On comes Zoe Kelly and hear the roar. Georgia Stanway replaced by Jess Park.
Kelly and Jeff Clark, plenty of fond memories in Everton shirts, and of course Georgia Stanway coming off to a round of high five, scoring the second England goal this evening. 5 minutes on the clock now. So England 2, Ukraine 0, and heading to the playoffs to secure their World Cup qualification. Here goes Jeff Clark.
Kelly now.
She was excellent, wasn't she, Jess Clark, in that opening game of qualification, scoring twice. With Alessia Russo, she's on the ball now. Chloe Kelly trying to offer herself in support. It's Chloe Kelly finding her way forward. Kelly sets it up nicely. Awful. Now for Lauren Henn. Takes her time. Lauren Henn to her back of the shirt. And a free kick right on the edge of the area.
She's still going, Lauren Henn, in terms of trying to do something positive, trying to take a player on. Looks like she found herself in a bit of space in the area then. Still for the full back on her shirt. But Park and Kelly have just added a little bit to this, positive to this game in an attacking sense. I mean, Park is just full of it in terms of energy and another quality of Kelly.
What do England do here? Alex Greenwood stood over the ball next to her Beth Mead. Clutch meticulously trying to arrange the wall of 4 Ukraine players in front of her. A golden opportunity for England. Left with Beth Mead. It's Mead, the strike! Of course! England have a third! And a 40th goal for Beth Mead in England colours. She draws level with Farrah Williams, 5th in England's all-time scoring list.
That's a nice quality in this from Beth Mead. Alex Greenwood left her to it from the right foot, and it's about getting it through the space. Boklach, who's been good in the Ukraine goal, had absolutely no chance. It had power and it had precision. And she found the space, got it in right in the corner, just struck the ball with such venom. Great free kick.
Well, that is how you score your 40th England goal. 3 on the night now for Sarina Wiegman's Lionesses. And another player who, of course, on the move this summer. With so much success in a Arsenal shirt, displaying exactly what she can do.
Absolutely, she's got so much more to offer. Football, Beth Mead, probably a move will give her a new lease of life, but certainly showed her technical quality there with that effort.
The confirmation of the change for Ukraine. Wojciech, who has been replaced. Alina Podolska has come onto the pitch, just on the tunnel for Wojciech. Letitia. Those changes from Sarina Wiegman have just given this game an extra breath of life.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows the strength and depth. Jill Scott was interviewed, wasn't she, before the game, and talking about walking past the players and seeing the quality that England have, and we're just used to seeing it now. Players that come on will make a difference.
They've been relentless, England, through the first half, now into the second. Would have wanted better returns. See from these corners, which have now had 11. Taken short once again. Here's Jess Carter. Mead. Gets height on the ball, a slip from Chloe Kelly. Well, it's causing havoc in some places, isn't it, this pitch?
Well, it is. The pitch looks good to me, but maybe it's the footwear, but I think Alex Greenwood has just offered a a little bit of calm, authority and quality. Centre back, and once she gets on the ball, because obviously the centre backs and the back line having a lot of the ball in this game.
On this pitch we'll see plenty more international action. One of 10 venues for the Men's Euros in 2028, being hosted by England, Scotland, Wales and Republic of Ireland. Mead, Carter, scoring 14 minutes, 70 on the clock, and England lead by 3 goals to 0. Greenwood. Dominic Greenwood. The FA Cup final against Brighton. They're given away of Ukraine. The protest from the England players. Katrina Wiegman, she said setbacks were necessary. Have you seen enough that they've been able to make the most of the setback, Lucy?
The goal there. But yeah, I mean, different opposition. Just small margins against the likes of Spain, definitely. Was a big punch in the face, and that's what Sarina Wiegman called it. That you've just got to get up and go again. You know, you're right at the top. You're not always going to win every game. That's football, elite football at the top. And they've traded blows with Spain over the last few years, and keep doing so at the World Cup next year. Walsh sees that roll out ahead of her.
It will be the qualification playoff round now for England, having fallen to a 4-0 defeat to the world champion Spain in their penultimate game, their heaviest defeat under Sarina Wiegman.
They did have a similar result against Germany at Wembley, if you remember, and reacted very well from it. It's difficult to maintain that momentum all the way through qualifying and getting the right results. It's certainly not sustainable to play in the Euros and having to come back all the time, not playing so well. They obviously won it and did very well with the resilience we know that they've got, but it's about stepping up that next level and going into games with Spain and beating Spain 3 or 4-0. Can we be that team? The ultimate aim.
Here is Letitia. Greenwood. Walsh. Into the ball. What a great hit for Manchester United in October. Kelly. Here's Park. Just reaping up for England now. They've been well in control. Park. Lichenko. Blinkila Brown rolls it across. He's there and waiting, unable to do anything with it. I'm sure she was quite expecting it.
Those areas so many times, England and the 3 goals from it, probably should have scored more in terms of the dangerous spaces they found themselves in, but they just kept going. It's that relentless pressure.
Greenwood. Tissier. Plays a club football at centre-back as the Manchester United captain. Has been preferred at right back for Sarina Wiegman. Which at times has caused a bit of a stir.
She's a top performer. Manchester United. But again, the way that Serena has set up the team tonight, she's sort of tucked in as a right centre back when left back goes forward.
Very all there. Again, good defensive work. Ukraine and Schmatko. Captain has stepped up on occasion for Ukraine. Park. The setters are options. He's arriving just too late. Carter. 15 minutes left to play of this game. England leading by 3-0. Serena Wiegman wanting to go out with a statement ahead of what will be the playoff campaign in October and then back again. England will hope in November and December. It will be a corner, another for England.
Yeah, they are very well earned rest now as well. The England players, that's important. For a long old season and the Euros last summer, limited rest in between.
Direct this time, high looping ball into the back post, Russo's there to chase. Shots England have had in this game. They've only had 5, one of those on target. It's in between Hennis and Keeler Brown. Only 5 touches in the opposition box for Ukraine, losing comparison to 56 for England. The has been started. Olushenko's found a way away hit, plays it across, and the chance had opened up, and now it just fizzles out for Ukraine. Well, it's almost put on a plate.
Yeah, it's about making the right decisions because she has, good since she's come on. Olushenko down that left-hand side, just looked lively, but not enough quality to get through that back line of England.
One of the few players who plays their club football outside of Ukraine. Spent the last 2 seasons in the French top flight with Lille. Here comes England and Lauren Hens will see Chloe Kelly open in space. Too much on it. Well, confirmation of Beth Mead climbing up to the all-time leading scorers charts for England, now level with Farrah Williams on 40 in 5th.
Some names on that list.
Keeler Brown finds Jess Park. Russo there waiting. Traffic, and the ball collected and sent away by the Ukraine captain Schmatko. Schmatko. Flatch. Brown. Russo. Door closed very quickly though on England's number 9. The charge back up. Play continues. It's still Russo. Tries it across the area. It fizzles out for England.
Schmatko and Olhover have done actually quite well against Russo. Centre backs for Ukraine. She's unselfish really. So many times she gets herself in those positions, it's like just have a shot.
Here's Russo, almost the same move, but this time it'll open up, but quickly down to one side with Katerina Boklach.
Boklach is probably been Ukraine's best player. about, kept them out. Many more goals that could have been scored. Hit the ground a little bit, Rousseau.
Sheila Brown goes down, but free kick given the way of Ukraine. Well, we are fast approaching the start of the Men's World Cup, and England men's final World Cup warm-up game is tomorrow against Costa Rica in Orlando. Join Mark Pugac and the team stateside from 8 o'clock on ITV1 and STV. And tonight, in the early hours of tomorrow morning, we've got live coverage of the world champions Argentina against Iceland on ITVX. That's at 2 a.m. And then, of course, the big one, the opening ceremony. As the wait almost over, the World Cup gets underway with Mexico up against South Africa. Here's Sheila Brown. Kemp. Here's Mead, has space to roam into, and Alessia Russo ahead of her. Kelly. More options arriving for England. Greenwood, Lauren Hebb, here's Russo, Kelly, Park, Russo leaves it, that's Mead, the time, looks backwards to Alex Greenwood, here's Blinkila Brown, and they will have changes for both England and Ukraine. So off comes Kira Walsh, who will hand the armband over to Alex Greenwood.
I think she's been very good. Kira Walsh, I have to say, standout player for England. I think it really hurt the Spain result and the performance. She's stepped up this evening.
And on in her place Lucia Kendall, Aston Villa midfielder, who has made a seamless step up to both the WSL, of course into an England shirt as well. Then Kip onto the pitch as well for Ukraine. Tissier. Well, to keep the ball in play. Here's Lucia Kendall, and he made a step up to the WSL last summer, leaving Southampton. Tissier. Mead, under pressure, but she keeps running. Kelly. This is the third or fourth time that she's slipped up.
Yeah, Kelly, not quite got the right footwear on. Chloe Kelly kicked the grass out of it.
She wasn't the only one in the first half. Obviously, she'd only come onto the pitch in the second half. There was a couple of players who lost their footing in the first, but she has been the main sufferer in the second. Here's Jess Park. Here's Kendall. Here's Greenwood. Mead. Kemp. minutes left to play in the second half. Keela Brown. What do you expect Serena Wiegman's main assessment of this qualifying period will have been, Lucy Ward?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that when they needed to be the top team in the group, they just couldn't quite manage it. I think there's a lot to do with, you know, the teams and the match fitness, but Spain were so much better, and you cannot afford to be a couple of % off it, which I think England were all over the pitch, and just allowed Spain to dominate. But other than that, there's been some good breakthrough performances, there's been goals scored, but now it's about getting the job done in the next 2 international windows.
To find space, use the window straight at the goalkeeper.
Park has found herself in those positions where it's opened up for her to have a shot. Sometimes she's done it. Again, just easy enough for Boplatch. Yeah, there's the dominance. I'm sure that was going to be the case. It was about how many that England could convert. Comfortable victory.
Russo trademarking dropping deep to help England sensitive quarters. Now she's forward. Here's Bethany driving down towards goal. It's Bethany! It's a big save. To deny Bethany the second of this game, and England a fourth. Started both games when England and Ukraine met in World Cup qualification in 2014. 4 years old, fast approaching her 100th cap for Ukraine. Wiped out. She's stayed down here. The yellow card will be shown. Way of Melodiuk.
That's a real poor challenge we've seen all evening, really. I'm sure the camera was expecting it. It might have just been to see Duke out the corner of her eye. She's alright, she's got up.
Over this free kick. Encouraged by the referee. The ball into space. You can see what she was trying to do, but didn't have the communication there with Alessia Russo to make it stick. Is there anything more that you'd have liked to see from England in this campaign outside of the 4-0 defeat, of course, on Friday?
I think that's it. That's the blip, isn't it? And it's the blip that's been the most important effect on whether England go through, straight through as group winners. Now that Spain are a very, very good team. They always have been. England have battled with them over the last few years, and actually been a nemesis at one point over the last 12 months, but Spain have pulled themselves together and just gone on. So I do think that they'll pass across again, I'm sure, at the World Cup. England will be there.
Lishchenko. The final 60 seconds of regulation time. A dominant England performance. course, owing to that defeat, 4-0 to Spain on Friday night. Won't yield any rewards, and it will be into the playoffs for England. They will face one of the top teams in League C. That draw taking place on the 18th of June.
I think Anita's doing it, so she needs to figure someone good out.
All the pressure on Asante. You'll be prepared for Kirby. Of course, Katie Shanahan after this game with all the reaction to England's 3-0, at least as things stand, victory over Ukraine. A dominant performance across the pitch. Ukraine haven't had anything to respond with. 2 minutes of additional time show. So we tick over the 90-minute mark.
Always happy faces in the crowd on Lionesses game. School night as well, isn't it?
With Chloe Kelly. Can England add a fourth?
Kendall.
Play ahead of her. Given us a corner. She will have plenty of time now to fine-tune her thoughts ahead of October and those playoff games. Serena Wiegman. Here's Marcia Kendall. Pinging around, Jeff Park is there. He's on the ground and just out wide. When you look at the chances that England have had tonight, Lucy, 23 shots, 10 of those on target, would there be any concern that they haven't made the most of them?
I think there's context around it being the end of the season. There's quite a few tired legs out there for England. They knew that they wouldn't go through. They knew that Iceland, I'm sure, wouldn't do a job on Spain. It's about getting the mindset right for this. I think they've been professional. I think they've been thorough. Yeah, a few more goals would have been nice, but it's been a professional performance from England.
Approaching the end of the 2 minutes, and that is that. The first part of England's qualification campaign for the World Cup in 2027 concludes. It will be into the playoffs for Serena Wiegman's Lionesses. Beth Mead climbing up the order on the all-time scorers list after Jess Carter opened the scoring 14 minutes into the game. Georgia Stanway added a second. But a night that will be full of celebration for Beth.
Yeah, I mean, Beth Mead has shown time and time again what natural goal scorer she is. Adds real value to this England group and comes on and scores a goal and gets herself in amongst those names that we saw earlier on.
Well, they knew they needed a favour from their friends in Reykjavik tonight, the Lionesses, and very early on in the game it swung over in Iceland, very much in favour of Spain. They knew the chances were really stacked against them tonight, but still a controlled performance. Lucy Ward, what more now? What do you want to see from England going into those playoffs?
Well, it's looking forward now. It's looking forward to see who they've got in the next couple of rounds to get themselves through to the World Cup, and it's building. It's about building for the World Cup, and I have every faith that England will get through these playoff rounds.
Well, all the analysis of that final game in the group for England's World Cup qualification to come with Katie, Fran and Anita. Full time here in Liverpool. It's finished England 3, Ukraine 0.